So this is me just being quiet for a couple of seconds so that I know where to stop the video so that I can obviously cut them and make them endgame only, middle game only, and so on and so forth. I have no idea why I'm lagging like a piggy right now. So, in this match, how many times each player had in the clock? Show the standard time controls for these type of games is 40 moves for 90 minutes. Sorry, they have 90 minutes, so an hour and a half for 40 moves. Then after 40 moves, they get another 30 minutes. And they also get a 30-second increment from... Yeah. It was lagging quite badly. It should be back now. Yeah. Frog this. I don't know why it was lagging suddenly, but I also saw it. I think it's because I changed the overlay and everything, and it was suddenly like, oh my god, what are we doing? So, yeah. So, okay, you will learn to play because every game you play, you will have no ideas. Yeah, exactly, me on Twitch. That is very, very, very true. Okay, so let's get into the endgames here. Let me just grab the endgame study real quick. And we can jam some endgames. So, this is basic endgames. Once again, let me just remind you, this is basic endgames. They are obviously getting, more complicated very quickly. So... just, bear with us as we teach everybody about endgames. I think we were at position 20. Yes, this is where we were. Okay, so in our last stream, we just finished by showing you this position from Black's side, right? So the pawns are going this way, where I told you that the way to win with a double pawn and king against the king is that we get the pawn to the position where it would be stalemate, like so. Typical where if we didn't have this pawn, this would have been stalemate, right? If we didn't have this pawn. But now we just push the pawn and voila, king has to come out and then we go past. You just wanted to see me dance, didn't you? You just wanted to see me dance, didn't you, Magnets? Thanks for the sub, Magnets. Thank you so much, buddy. Please do check out the schedule, by the way, because you will see that we will start updating the schedule on a much more regular basis, and we will be sticking to it as well. So, okay. Thank you, Magnets. Okay, so yeah. Simple way for you to win with the double pawn. Okay. You the man, Mr. Magnus. You the man, yo. So here, in our next puzzle, we have the same type of idea, but it's not that easy. Because Black still has a pawn. Okay. Oh, did you gift him a sub? Is that what happens? Oh, thank you, Hostile. That's very, very nice of you, Hostile. Very nice. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Hostile. Magnets is a very, very nice young man, so it's very nice to have him as a sub. Cool. Congratulations, Magnets. You got yourself a subby sub, my friend. Good job. So, in this position, we still have to take care of this pawn. Okay. So I'm going to try and get in here and continue on with the lesson. Okay, guys. So, our first objective is to obviously get our king in front of the pawn, right? Okay. But he will be able to defend the pawn. Then we need to use these pawns and we need to shoulder his king away. Now, the cool thing, the cool thing about double pawns, by the way, is that from the side of the pawns, if you come from the side of these pawns, you can never win these pawns either, okay? Because you can never take the back pawn because then the front one runs. And of course, if you'll notice, if you come from the side, these pawns are covering these squares, okay? And if you ever go to this square, let's say the king were to go here, then the pawn would run away. So pawns are actually quite capable, if they're doubled, to defend themselves against the king. So first step is we blockade this pawn. Then this king cannot go away from these squares. Then we use our pawns and keep them steady while the king cannot attack them. So check how this happens. It's a very, very nice position. King f1, king goes to c4, king e2. Yeah, you know what, Pashnil? Of course they are bad, but they are not always bad. Okay. And for me personally, in even in the middle game structure, okay, even in just a normal, let's say like the Rai Lopez, where I take your pawn, you have a double pawn, they're not bad because, first of all, in a lot of cases you can get rid of them. Other things you have to take in consideration when you have double pawns is that because you have a double pawn, you suddenly have a semi-open file, and you also have more open diagonals. So in chess, we call something like this a dynamic advantage. Okay? Dynamic means that it's ever moving, right? It's ever going and moving and flowing. Okay. Where static is a forever weakness. So a double pawn could be a long-term weakness, but in the short term, the dynamic, we get something out of the deal. Okay. So, and it's very interesting where you have two different players like Karpov versus Kasparov, where Kasparov would take the dynamic advantages any day of the week, and Karpov would be the one to prefer to leave you with the static weakness. So it's just an interesting, yin and yang type of situation. Okay, so let's continue here. King defends the pawn. Now check this out. He plays g4. The king goes to e4, and now we play g3. Why? Because, again, these pawns are protecting themselves from the king. They got a little side shield going, saying, ha 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 ha. Don't even think about it, foolish child. Okay? So black goes back here because he's still in the square. Okay? Black is still in the square. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And we can show the square. So black is still within the square. So he can play there. Kaza! CHR. Thanks for the follow, Kaza. Okay? So now we play g5. And now he plays king here. Now, Pasha, now that you know what the double pawns are supposed to do, what does white play in this position here? I guess it's the Pashnil is the whole way. So what does white play now? To avoid the obvious. No! Careful. If you take, then he's going to be able to get into a drawn king and pawn endgame. Okay, there we go. So Andregor says g4. Remember, the pawns need to keep the king out. They need to shield. They need to put up their little shield on the side there saying, the hell with you. You're never coming near us, buddy. Okay, because if you take now, he's going to win this pawn, and it's a draw because you do not have your king in the front of the pawn. You do not have opposition, And of course, your king is not on the 6th rank. So we know that you cannot win the king and pawn versus king endgame unless you have at least 2 of the 3 principles required to win. Okay, so he goes g4 instead. Beautiful move. Because of course, now the king can't go here or here. We're protecting. And you can't go here because I can just run past and say, toodle-doo. Au revoir. I will never see you again, foolish child. So, what does black do now? He can't go here to protect his pawn. And he cannot go here to attack your pawn. So he has to go backwards. He has to now try and get in front of the pawns. Okay. So he plays king e6. Now you can take the pawn. The guy goes king f7. And now you have to be careful. Because you can fall for the same trick where you would lose the front pawn and be in a king and pawn versus king endgame where you actually cannot win. So what is the move that white should avoid here? There we go, Magnets. Good move. King e4. Why not king f4? Why is king f4 bad? Why? Why are we avoiding king f4? Aha, exactly. Good. No, you won't lose both pawns, but you will lose one of them, right? And then you don't have enough. Exactly. So king g6 puts you in zugzwang. That's the exact word that you're looking for there. Good job, Magnets. So zugzwang is the problem. Now you have to move, I take, and after this, we don't have the king in front of the pawn. We don't even have opposition, and our king is not in the 6th rank. So we don't have any of the 3 rules. So, boom. You can't win anymore. Okay. Perfect. So you go king e4 instead, right? Now if he goes king g6, you can play king f4, putting him in zugzwang. Okay, so now he has to go back, right? So now he goes back, and now if we go back to the previous position, we are in this position again, right? We have this idea where we have the double pawn, and we need to use the idea. So let's go forward again. And now we have to make use of the idea of pushing this pawn all the way to there, and then using this pawn as a tempo, right? There's going to be a trick. It's a pretty one. So let's continue. King goes to f5, king goes to f7, pawn push, king goes here, king goes here, king goes here, and now you have to be careful. This is where things get very, very complicated. The 3 rules. Sorry, the Pashnil, did you not watch episode of it? Were you not here for episode 1? Were you? The Pashnil. Do yourself a favor. You know, whenever you have the time or whatever, go check out the first episode of Basic Endgames that we have in the videos archive. Okay. Then you will learn everything. But I will tell you the 3 rules anyway. Just because I love you, buddy. Let me just quickly go all the way back. And up to, let's say, here. Here we go. So the 3 rules that we need in order to win a game with a king and pawn versus a king is that we need to have our king, first of all, in front of the pawn. That is probably one of the most important ones, okay? Then, if we can, we need to have opposition. Opposition is basically when you're just standing across from the king, okay? And you are both attacking these squares. If he moves, you can pass. If he moves this way, you can pass. That's opposition. Okay? And then the 3rd principle is that you need to have your king on either the 6th rank, or of course if you were black, you would have it on the 3rd rank. Okay. So now we go all the way back. Oops, wrong one. Now when we go back, okay, and I go back a couple of moves for you. After, let's say, king f4, right? Our mistaking move. Here, king moves, and we take. Now you can quickly see here that the king is not in front of the pawn. The king does not have opposition because he is not even, in front of the king. Okay, so he doesn't have opposition, and his king is not on the 6th rank either. And you're never going to be capable of doing this. Okay. Because after, let's say, here, king goes here, and you cannot take opposition. Because your own pawn is in your way. If you pass, he takes opposition. Blocking you from accessing any of the key squares of the pawn. Now, if you push, he goes here. We do the same thing over and over again. Same pattern. He just takes opposition when you cannot. You push the pawn, he stays in front of it. And again, he plays here because you cannot. Until eventually you have a draw. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but because we have an extra pawn, the double pawn, we can use it as a tempo in order to win this game. So here we have the same situation. And after here, king here, king goes back, here, king here. Now, Dark Storm. Hello, Dark Storm. Welcome to the show, buddy. If you're new to the show and you haven't given me a follow yet on Twitch, please do. We are obviously just trying to build up the numbers, so that we can also become a partner streamer with Twitch. And it would be cool, of course, if we can become a Twitch streamer or a Twitch partner streamer without using chess.com. This is something that we want to achieve. So there is a trick here. After here, king here. You know what? Hostile ego, right? No, it's not hostile ego. It's not about subs. Currently we still need to get quite a few viewers. We need to bump up our viewership to 75 average over a 30-day period, hostile. I don't know how the subs thing work, hostile. There is extra rules about, getting, if you get maybe a certain amount of subs, then you can also request to become a partner streamer. I know that. But we're basically, the only achievement we still need to get is the average viewer achievement. We have got all the other achievements. All we need is the average viewer. Yeah, 75 average. Yeah, for 30 days though. That's for 30 days. Hey Ziltoid, what's up? That is for 30 days that we have to continuously keep that up. Currently we're at about 50. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It's taken us about, 3 or 4 weeks now to get up from like 15 to 50. So we'll get there. I know we will. So can someone tell me what the problem is if we play G5 here? After King H7, what do we play as white? And what is the problem as white here? No, it doesn't make any difference, Dre. It makes 0 difference at all. Yeah, stalemate if you go here, right? Oopsie. But it's not a draw, Dre. It's not a draw, Andre. It's not a draw. You can just sacrifice the pawn in the front and get to a typical winning game, right? Now we have, king in front of the pawn. We have opposition, and we have our king on the 6th rank. So we have 3 out of the 3 rules. Good going, buddy. Thank you, Ziltoid, for the follow. And by the way, Hostile Ego, it's really funny that you subscribed first and then only followed the channel. I love it when people do that. So yeah, so when in doubt, in all of these positions that we have, if you have to... Yeah, we know, Hostile, we know. Then you can just sacrifice this pawn and get into a winning king and pawn endgame, right? So just there, king here, and of course now, if the king goes here, we can go here, king goes here, and we just shovel the pawn up the board. Nice and simple. Okay. Sup, stuffed. So yeah, so very, very cool little idea there by sacrificing the pawn. Hey, Greg! Haven't seen you in quite some time, my friend. Haven't seen you in quite some time. Now, just out of interest, Andre, you were pointing out, what if we went this way, right? And you are completely... This would be obviously perfectly fine. Yeah, it was lagging for a second there. I'm not sure why, and I do apologize for that. It should be gone now. Should be fixed. I think it was just a random dip. Little dip. A little dip in the pool. You know what? I'm actually really hot right now. I could seriously go for a dip in a pool right now. Maybe I should go to the beach after this. Ooh, go to the beach, have a nice little, early morning swim. Yeah, so if king h8, then here, and of course we would avoid the same problem that we would have had with a stalemate if the king was reversed, right? Okay, so it's perfectly acceptable, of course, but it's just cool to show that you haven't screwed it up yet if you did go king the other way. Okay, Radioactive. Yeah, I just edited it, Greg. We just edited it to chess doctors. And by the way, Greg, I am not the only chess doctor anymore. Oh, you're just saying bye to Radioactive? Yeah, so Greg, I am not the only chess doctor anymore. We have... Ooh, just hold on. Little fucker. We have 2 other chess doctors as well. So I'm not the only streamer on this channel anymore. So we got friends now, baby. So yeah, and we are in full swing, right? You can check out the schedule. It's getting updated. It should be the next 2 days should be pretty much in lock already. So check us out. Welcome back. It's good to see you again, buddy. Okay, so that was a very interesting idea of just showing you how, first of all, the double pawns can shield themselves from a king by using a little side shield, right? So by playing like this, the king is attacking, threatening to go here. We play g3, and suddenly the king cannot come closer to attack any of the pawns. Ouch. Hey, Dom, what's up? No worries, Greg. No worries. I'm very happy to see some old faces as well. Believe me. By the way, if someone could just do me a favor again and type !Discord in the chat. And then obviously you guys, Greg, you guys, everybody come and join us in Discord as well. Okay. We have a few extra features in this Discord, and we are busy having talks with a few top players to join us on streams as well. So we're currently talking to Peter Svidler to join us for a stream, and also GM Irina Crush for joining us for a couple of streams as well, just as guests, of course. So you will see that Irina Crush is quite a regular nowadays, popping in here and chatting to us in the stream as well. Yeah, it's how we roll, Magnutes. It's how we roll. We are doing this old school with skills, bro. So yeah, so again, after the king goes here, the pawns again just defend themselves, right? They just block the king out. Burm, just like that. Yeah, Magnutes, it's how we roll, bro. It's how we roll. Ooh, it's the Stan the man. Sup, Stan? Hi. I'm bleeding from my eyes, by the way. So yeah, so I'm almost done here. Another 30 minutes and I'm gonna be done for the day. But anyway, okay. So we're gonna move on to the next puzzle, the next endgame situation, where we are now gonna start looking at when the pawns are on the same in the same file. Okay, so they're literally in the same file. When can we win and when can we not win? Okay. Now, if we look at this position here, if it is white to play, white can win. Hey, Chesky, if it is black to play, black will only draw. There we go. Dr. Hack in the house, saying that in about 30 minutes, he will be doing a bit of a chat about gambits. So obviously when I go offline, then you guys must stick around because Dr. Hack will be joining the show, or at least taking over the channel right after I'm done. So in this position, by the way, what you need to realize here is that if it is white to play, white can control all the squares and get opposition immediately. And if he wins this pawn, he will have his king already on the 6th rank. And remember the 3 rules? We need our king on the 6th rank. We need our king in front of the pawn. The 3 rules, sorry. And we need to get opposition. But we only need 2 out of the 3 rules to be correct. Okay. Magnus Carlson. Okay. Would be fun if you play a blitz before you leave. Yeah, Shao Isa. I'm not gonna have the time, Shao Isa. I'm not gonna have the time, unfortunately. Okay. Yes. So these are called key squares, by the way. Okay. They're next to the pawn, and they're key because if I can occupy them, I can win your pawn. Okay. No. If it was black to play, black would just play king e6. Perfectly fine. Dom, the 3 rules are if you want to win with a pawn and king versus a king, then the 3 rules are that you need to have your king in front of the pawn. You need to have opposition, and or you need to have your king already on the 6th rank or the 3rd rank if you are black, of course, right? Okay. But you only need 2 out of 3 in order to be able to win. So I'm going to show you an example now. Don't worry. So, king goes here. We take opposition. Okay? Fighting for the squares. Beautiful. Now the king has to move. Okay. It doesn't matter where the pawn is then, in most cases, Stan. If the king is on the 6th rank, the pawn can be here as well. Makes no difference. Okay. So yeah, so the key squares will be here, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, just inner mirror. Just give me a second. Let's just finish here and get up to the right position. So let's say he goes here, right? Because now he still defends these 2 squares. Now the king can come around because you cannot go here because of the pawn. Now let's say the king goes here. We go here, getting closer. He goes here. Now we go king here, taking side opposition. The king goes here. We attack the pawn. Then the king goes here to defend it. And after king here, the king has to now move away from the pawn and we take it. And now king goes here and black has the opposition. Okay, so this is now the trick where we have to state, okay? So we say that we need to have our king in front of the pawn. Now again, boys and girls, it wouldn't have mattered where the pawn is. That doesn't matter. If the pawn is further back, you can use the pawn to give you opposition as well. Okay? Now, the king is already in front of the pawn, right? We do not have opposition because it's white to play. But we also have our king on the 6th rank. So we have 2 out of the 3 rules. Okay. We have our king in front of the pawn and we have our king on the 6th rank. So the trick goes as follows. If we go king here, he goes king here to keep the opposition. We push the pawn. He goes here and all we do... Okay, for those of you who do not know what opposition is, go and check out the first video in this series. Okay, so just so you guys know, okay, I did a previous video. This is episode 2 of beginner endgames. Okay, you guys can go and check out the first episode of the beginner endgames in our video archives on Twitch. Okay, yeah, it's hard to explain unless you watch the video, so go and watch the first video as well after this. Then you will understand everything about opposition. Okay, guys. Let me just check something quickly. Oh, whatever. It's fine, whatever. Sorry, I'm just finding out from Dr. Hack about something. My apologies. Okay, anyway. Hey, Anasazi, how are you, buddy? Okay, so now when the king goes in front of the pawn, all we need to do is push the pawn, and now, of course, the king cannot stay in front of the pawn anymore. King has to come out, and we just push, and it's done for. He is absolutely done for. Thank you, Anasazi. Yeah, we're definitely, on average, we're starting to hit 50 plus viewers, and it's awesome. Okay, cool. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, buddy. Yes, yeah. So just out of interest for you guys, Dan, Dr. Hack didn't know that if you update the channel description, you have to put the words leechess.org in the channel description, because then it searches, then the Leechess front page, which obviously we get featured on, searches for channels where leechess.org gets put in there, and then you automatically get put on the front page. Just so we know. If white hits the 7th without check, you're good. There we go. Okay, and now, of course, we just promote, right? And we shovel him back here, and it's mate. Okay, nice, clean finish. Booyah. Okay, but if we change this, by the way, and we were to make this black to play in this position, black would be able to go here and attack your key squares, and he will be able to win your pawn. But when he wins the pawn, all white has to do is put the king here. I just want to look at the next puzzle to see if... Yes, there we go. Okay, I'm going to just change the board position here to be black. Just so you can see it. So I flip the board now. Yes, thank you, Pashnil. He will only have 1 out of the 3 rules. You're getting it, Pashnil. You're getting it, buddy. So check this out, right? So we just flip the board and we make it black to move. So black plays here. He takes the opposition, fighting for the key squares. Okay. Now let's say I go here, you go here, I go here, you go here, I go here. We're just fighting, right, for the squares until you eventually win them. Here, king here, you take, and the king goes in front. Now, when we look at the rules, black's king is in front of the pawn. Black does not have opposition because it's black to move. And black's king is not on the 3rd rank. Of course, it's black here, so not the 6th rank, right? So you only have 1 out of the 3 rules, and that's not enough. You need 2. You need to have 2. So what happens here is white just keeps the opposition. And if you push your pawn, white stays in front of the pawn, where your king now no longer can take opposition or get in front of the pawn. And once you can't get in front of the pawn, you're done for. You cannot win this anymore. Okay. So now you'd have to do this. The king stays again in front of the pawn, so you can't take opposition anywhere. Takes opposition. And that's it. Nice and simple. He just stays, keeps the same thing going. And of course, now you have to stalemate, right? Or give up the pawn. Okay, so it also depends if the pawns are in front of each other. It also depends on how far advanced the pawns are. Okay, that's very important. Cool. Let's go on to the next one. We're on a roll, boys and girls. Okay, so these are very easy. I just wanted to show you something about Zugzwang. Okay, so again, we talk a lot about Zugzwang. Now, a lot of you might not actually know what Zugzwang means. Okay, Zugzwang means that you're in a position where no matter what piece you move, obviously the less pieces you have on the board, the easier this is to happen. But the definition says no matter what piece you move, you will end up having to make a weakness in your camp and you'll lose the game. Yeah, 75 is the average we are going to look for 30 days, yes. I'm a Dakunban. I have no... Imada. I'm just going to say Imada. Thanks for the follow, Imada. Yes, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Stuffed. So, yeah, obligation to move. Okay. So, in this position, right, here we can immediately see that if it is black to move, he is in Zugzwang, because he cannot defend the pawn and attack this pawn at the same time. But if it was white to move, same thing would apply. He can now no longer move to attack the pawn and defend his pawn at the same time. Okay, so if it was black to move, white now would just play here. And of course, he already has his king in front of the pawn. We don't even care because, of course, the other king is not even in front of the pawn either. So king moves and I just go past. And voila, pawny runs. Simple. Okay. So it's just a simple example of what Zugzwang looks like. If it was white to move here, white would have to move, let's say, here, 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 or here, or here, whatever, because he can't go here, right? Okay. And if he moves, I take the pawn, I move my king out of the way, and the pawn runs all the way to the other side. Nice and simple. So whoever moves here loses. Okay. Now, so a position like this, by the way, where it, depending on who it is to move, he would be in Zugzwang. In chess, we call it reciprocal Zugzwang. That just means that it counts for both players. Whoever is to move is in Zugzwang. Okay, and of course, if you're in Zugzwang, you lose. A trebuchet! FC, what's up, FC? A trebuchet. You have me triggered. I will kick you all in the faces. Well, Chesky, I do advanced endgames as well. So keep on watching the schedule, then you'll know which is advanced and when is it beginners and stuff like that. Okay, next position. I just moved the kings one square further, and now we have the same situation where if the kings go to these squares, whoever gets there last wins. So, because if you get here first, black will play here, and then you're in Zugzwang, right? But if it was black to play and black played here first, then white would play here, and black would be in Zugzwang. So if you're white, yeah. No, all you have to do in these positions, the Pashnil, is that you have to just attack the pawn by not going to the Zugzwang square. It's a little bit of a dodgy one. You have to be very, very careful. Okay, so what white would do here is he would just attack the pawn from not this square. Okay, so this square is taboo. So he would just attack the pawn from a different angle. And now, of course, you can't do the same because I just take your pawn and, of course, I'm protecting my pawn. Now I force you to go to the crappy square. Yes, exactly, K-Storm. And, of course, then I play here. So king goes to g6. Now you're forced to go to the Zugzwang square, which is really sad, but tough luck for you, right? And now I go king g5. And now you're in Zugzwang. Busted. Okay, and the same would count for if it was black to play. Black would play king here. The king would be forced to play to g5, and then he would go king here. And then he puts you in Zugzwang, wins your pawn, and wins the game. Okay. Yes, K-Storm is here. He the man, yo. He the man. So these are not very tough. It's just to show you the concept of Zugzwang. Okay, so again, just the concept of what Zugzwang really looks like. Okay. Let's continue on further, my children. My little children. Now, things get a little bit more complicated. Okay. Now we start looking at pawns that are in the adjacent files from each other. Now, the general rule here, okay, is that it is a draw if I can attack your pawn when you attack my pawn, or if I can just defend my pawn. Simple. That is it. Darkstorm. Sorry, I can only see the in my little chat in my chat box. I didn't have the full name. Yeah, so it's Darkstorm. My bad. I'm sorry. I just call him K-Storm. Okay, he's Dark K-Storm for me. By the way, if any of you are from the StarCraft world and you know Nero, he gave us a follow earlier, which was really awesome, and I just wanted to thank Nero again. I will see if he is if he's streaming today, then I will thank him as well, because he gave us a host of 170 people today. Well, it was actually a raid, but the raid is just as cool. Okay, so let me see if I can explain this again to you. When we have pawns on the adjacent files, okay, then the key factor to knowing whether you can win, draw, or lose, okay, is that whether, if you can defend, of course, your pawn, then you're never going to lose the game. Okay, so if you're capable of defending your own pawn, then you can never lose. Okay, but if you're incapable of defending your own pawn, like this black king that cannot defend his own pawn, it's way too far away, right? Then the only other thing that you can do to try and keep the draw is if you can attack his king, if you can attack his pawn if he attacks your pawn. Okay, so it is black to play here. This white pawn, by the way, is going this way. This pawn is going that way. If you're black to play, you know that you cannot defend your pawn. So your only objective is to attack his pawn when he attacks your pawn. So if you're black to play, what do you play? Let's see if someone can find. Ooh, sorry. I'm burping like a crazy person. DOMDD wants to know my rating. Woo. Ah, the Pashnil, beautiful. Oh, but you're getting these, right? You're getting this, huh? For the Pashnil, you're really getting this, my buddy. I'm so happy, bro. I'm so glad. Okay, King C1. You guys got it. Why? Because our idea is to attack the pawn from behind, right? So we just want to try and attack the pawn. Very nice, very nice. Notorious in the chat there, and Modern Game. Hi guys, hi everybody. Yeah, the Pashnil, I'm very happy. Seriously. Yeah, hi Mar. Hi everybody. So many new people. Oh, I'm so happy. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be done in about 10 minutes, so that's a bit sad. But you guys have to stick around because we will. Dr. Hack will be in to do some Gambit stuff. Okay. No worries, modern game. No worries. Okay, so yeah, King C1 is the correct move. Very nicely spotted, boys and girls. Because now, of course, if you go King here to obviously go here, I go King D2. If you attack my pawn, I attack your pawn. Very, very, very. Yeah, DOM. There is DOM. You can just check out my profile on Lichess. You can check out my coaching profile on Lichess. It's under the name Loner Druid. So yeah, Darkstorm. We're not too worried about it. We know that the numbers will get there, right? So we're streaming as much as we can, and we know the numbers will get there. So it's okay. Only good time. Offbeat Opener. Thank you, Offbeat Opener, for the follow. So now if you take my pawn, I take your pawn, and voila, I have managed to draw. Okay. So what if white tries something different? What if white tries to go King E2? What do you play if he goes King E2? Okay, Mars says King C2. Yeah, perfect. King C2. And if he goes King E3, what do we do now? Be very, very careful, my children. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Remember, kids. Am I going to troll Simon Williams, right? Remember, children. Anasazi, good idea. Yes, Alexander, Alexander. Perfect, guys. Andre also. King D1. Perfect. We stick on the same idea that we want to come from behind to attack your pawn. Perfect. Now, again, if you play here, I play here, you play here, I play here. And I got it. Yeah, Chesky, you still remember that? Right, children. Perfect, boys and girls. Well done. Okay, very nicely spotted there. There is no way for him to block your king out if he does something. Like, even if he goes here, right? You just stay behind the pawn because you need to come in behind it. If he goes here, you go here. If he goes here, you go here. If he does this, you just stay behind this pawn. Because if ever he comes forward, you can just go and attack his pawn from behind. Cool. Thank you, Darkstorm. Thanks for the follow, buddy. Thanks, everybody. If you haven't given me a follow yet, then please do. I would be much obliged for the follows, my sonny jambos. Okay, good job. So we're gonna do one more puzzle before I will knock out and go and sleep for a couple of hours. Oh, are you serious, modern gamer? Are you Eagle? Are you Eagle-Eyed Cherry? Is it my Eagle-Eyed Cherry? Hi, Eagle-Eyed Cherry. I know, right? And you know what, Offbeat? It is 4 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I'm a vampire. Yeah. I'm gonna get myself little vampire, like little teethies. Cool, modern gamer. That's awesome. Hi, buddy. That's very cool, modern gamer. Very, very cool. Okay, so let's do one more. Okay, with the same example here. Here it is white, right? So we have this pawn going this way, this pawn going this way. Okay, good job, Offbeat. I'm an hour before you are. Okay, so we have the same situation. Okay, where if you go for this pawn, black will go for this. So just look at a typical example. Like if you go here, I go here, you go here, I go here, you take, I go king here. And now the big problem is that you can't play f4, and if you come back, I play king here. Oops. Okay. Okay. So oops, oops, and dead, right? So what does white do here if he wants to try and win? This position is different from the previous one because the only thing... Yeah, this is a win for white, yes, if white plays correctly. Ooh, Dark Storm says he's going to try f4. But FC says that it is super tricky. And you're right, FC, it is very, very tricky. Thank you, Sizzle Linux. Oh, it's actually Sizzle Zone. Okay, is it like that? Sizzle Zone, I hope. F4, not good enough either. Because if you play f4, I play here, and now my king will be able to attack your pawn from behind, like in the previous position, right? Okay. Yeah, Sizzle 1, okay. If f3, then we could try g5. No, too slow. King here. You still have the same problem. I'm just attacking your pawn. Remember the rules for a draw. If we have adjacent pawns, if the black king can attack your pawn when you attack his pawn, then it's a draw. Okay. That is the simple rules here. When we have adjacent pawns, okay, on adjacent files, then the simple rule is if the black king can prevent, or if the black king can attack your pawn when you attack his pawn, then it's a draw. Multicolored arrows there. It's very easy, Riemann. If you use Alt and Shift on your keyboard, if you hold Alt in, click, then it's blue. If you use Shift, it's red. If you use Alt and Shift, it's yellow. And if you use nothing, loop, it's green. So use Alt and Shift on your keyboard to add colors to your life. That sounds like an ad, right? Just use Alt and Shift on your keyboard to add color to your life. Huh? So I could be like one of those like, this summer, they thought they knew what they were doing, but they had no clue. And then the king came closer. Okay, so somebody pointed out that king d4 is a move. Yes, king d4 is the perfect move. Why? Because if you go backwards, you no longer have the time to come back to attack the pawn. It takes you too long. So you can't go backwards. If you go forwards, then you put yourself in opposition. Okay? So I'm going to show a bunch of examples now. Okay. So if you go king c6, then I just go king e5, right? Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. King goes to c5, and I just play f4 now. Because again, every time your king puts me in puts me in opposition, I push my pawn to get the opposition back. This is something very, very cool that we can do in a lot of position. Good job, FC. Very, very good job. So now you're in opposition again. Your king has to move, and I can take. You don't have the time. So if you go here, I go here, you go here, I take, you attack my pawn. It's too late. I'm out of here. Okay. So every time your king goes to a square where you take opposition, even if it's side opposition here, you can push the pawn to force opposition back on him. Okay. So like this example, if you go king b4 instead, right? Then I can just play f4 again. Because I have now opposition. Ha 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 ha. You play here or here, I go 1, 2, 3. You need 1, 2, 3, 4. Too many, and I move first as well. So let's say you go here, I go, you go, I go, you go, I take, you go, and I'm out of here. Okay? So if we go all the way back here, after king d4, there is no way for you now to get behind my pawn to attack it anymore. Chesky, that's not how it works, Chesky. It works on average. So you have to keep a 75 people average, not a 1 day. Yeah, stick around for the gambits in a few minutes, guys. Yeah, keep it up for 30 days, right? I know. Nettie, where do you think I got the name from, bro? It's from Lone Druid, okay? But of course, I just changed it a little bit, being a chess player, right? Made it Loner Druid, because then I'm a little bit of a loner. Okay, so that is going to be the last puzzle for the day. So after King d4, there is no good way for black now to continue attacking the pawn from behind or to defend his pawn. If he tries to go backwards, like we said, there is just no way for him now to attack the pawn, and we just win the pawn. Okay, even if he could get opposition, like, let me just show an example. Here, taking the opposition, it doesn't matter because the king is in front of the pawn, and we can use the pawn again to get opposition back. Okay, so I can just play f4, and now I have the opposition again. Okay. So whenever you are stuck in a position and your opponent takes opposition, it's good to have that extra pawn move so that you can take the opposition yourself. Okay. Okay, boys and girls. That is it for me for the night. I am just I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, okay? If you will stick around for about just 5 minutes or so, then Dr. Hack will be back with some gambits for you guys, okay? Thank you, Darkstorm. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Eric Hansen, thank you for the stream. You are more than welcome. Thanks, Dan. Thank you so much. Guys, everybody, I love you guys. I love you all. Okay, so I will see you guys tomorrow. By the way, check out the schedule just down below in the videos. Check out the schedule to know when and where we are. Hi, Matren. And of course, like I say, stick around for just a couple of minutes because Dr. Hack will be back just now. Okay, so just give him a couple of minutes and he will start his show on Gambits. Thanks, everyone. Adios, amigos.